Most traders actually lose because of their mind and not because of their strategy. And that's exactly what I'm going to be covering today. Exactly what are the pitfalls most people have, especially relating to ICT concept traders, and exactly how to go over fixing those issues. So the first thing I want to do with you guys is set the stage or set the situation, which is already likely one that you're in or have experienced before. Because odds are if you're profitable, you're not watching this video. So that's the first thing we're going to assume here. Now, the next things we're going to assume is why are you unprofitable? Mainly your habits like over trading, and another big one is going to be revenge trading. Now, the third thing we're going to talk about is why you actually feel the need to overtrade and revenge trade and do all these things that completely break your discipline and keep you unprofitable. Now, just to be clear, I have a ton of friends who don't trade ICT concepts who I know personally are profitable. I have friends who trade supply and demand and order flow. I have friends who trade trend line opening range breakouts, all that sort of stuff. Now, given those strategies make it a lot more difficult to actually become disciplined. That's because there's really no time-based aspect, and oftentimes you're just setting zones and limit orders and buying whenever those key levels hit. So I kind of want to start off this video by saying you should try and pick a model that helps you follow your rules and stay very disciplined. What I mean by this is trying to help yourself pick out a time-based model so that you can stick to a certain routine at a certain time. And for me, and honestly most other people I know in the ICT space, it has been related to PO3 or open low high close. So this is the PO3 entry model. I've explained this a ton of times. If you actually want to master this entire PO3 entry model and learn really how to turn profitable with it, I made a completely free PO3 Bible that's about over 20 pages long that helps you do exactly that. So if you want to dive into specifics on how to master the strategy, just go to the first link in my bio and you can claim that for free. But let's real quickly go over why a time-based model is so important. You don't need to guess anymore. All you have to do is just follow your time. This really removes 90% of the hesitation and revenge trading because you are setting out a specific window where you know your model is supposed to work the most, okay? You're not trying to trade before that window. You're not trying to trade after that window. If your setup presents in that specific window where price is supposed to have strong volatility, like the opening times of higher time frame candles, like us, we do that with the 4-hour candle, that's when we're supposed to trade, okay? If it's 3 hours after that, odds are we're probably not taking a trade. All right, now let's actually dive into the most common problems that traders have and actually how to jump into solutions to fix that. So majority of unprofitable ICT traders will overtrade after a New York session loss, okay? The main problem is they're chasing trades to make it back after a losing session. The best solution for this is basically just presetting a max loss rule, okay? Before every session, you need to write down if I lose, X percent or X amount of trades, usually 1 to 2 trades or, 0.5% to 1%, I'm done. My edge doesn't necessarily disappear, right? My setup still could show up. I'm just stepping aside, okay? So you need to develop that control to realize that, okay, the setup still could be there, but I've hit my limit for the day, okay? I need to be completely done. Another thing that can also really help with this is setting a broker lockout on TradingView alert that reminds you once you actually hit that max so you can know to actually close your charts. Okay, now it's easy to just give yourself a solution to your problem, but sometimes for a lot of you, it's really hard to have the discipline to follow that. The main thing that I can give you guys to stop over trading and revenge trading is you are thinking in too short of a time frame. You guys are trying to literally be profitable like every single day if you can, and that's destroying you. And a lot of you guys will go on Twitter and see a ton of crazy P&L calendars with people who have, 50 to 100 trades on their top step accounts, and they're green every single day, right? And you're like, oh, well, why can't I just replicate that? Okay, because that's not realistic. Half of them are fake. Some people can do that after years and years and years of practice, but especially with ICT concepts and the PO3 entry model, that's really not what you're looking to do, okay? You are looking for consistent base hits and certain home runs on different plays, but really you're looking for base hits and you're trying to see where are you at the end of 30 days? Where are you at the end of a 3 to 6 month period? And most importantly, where are you at the end of the year? Okay, you guys need to understand your outcome is going to be a lagging measure of your habits, right? If your habits are to just consistently break your rules and think in the short term and not the long term, your long-term outcome's gonna suck. But if you constantly think in the long term and just keep your mind in probabilities, and most importantly, stay process focused, a lot of you guys need to get away from the dollar P&L or get away from looking at your calendar every single day. You should journal and collect data every single day, but get away from the calendar. You don't have to look at it every single day. After you journal, whatever, just do that and go look at it 30 days later, and you'll probably be surprised. If you followed all your rules, odds are you're going to be profitable. And another thing you can do is really just talking out loud to yourself, saying that loss was the cost of doing business. This is a business model. You're not trying to be a crazy gambler. This is a business model. Losses come. They're learning opportunities. The setup failed, not you. Okay? You didn't fail unless you broke all your rules. Okay? Another really huge issue I see, especially with people who have been in the game for a while, is thinking this time it's going to be different. Okay? The problem with that is ignoring your plan because the chart looks different today. The solution to this is trading your plan and not your mood. Okay? You can't just assume the market's going to do what you want it to do. And a lot of people get caught up in that overconfidence bias, or that they think the market actually owes them something because they put in so much work and they do all the correct analysis and all that stuff. The market doesn't owe you anything, and you are truly not in control of any single setup that you take when you are trading. Every time you go into a trade, you need to accept that either outcome is very possible, okay? No strategy has a 100% win rate. I've lost on plenty of A+ setups throughout the years, and you just have to learn to accept it, and you have to realize that is a part of the game. So something you can do to help this is printing your PO3 model or have it on screen. If it doesn't match, no trade, regardless of gut feeling, okay? If your model doesn't show up perfectly, then you don't have to trade it, all right? If it's not a B setup, if it's not an A setup, then you don't have to do that, all right? Now, a big part of this is just building confidence in your model. So go and back test. Before the session, you can review 2 examples of past PO3 setups. This is gonna anchor your brain to the model and not, improvising, okay? There is times where we take continuation setups that might not look exactly like the PO3, okay? But that's just us waiting for a lot of extra confirmation. If you, by chance, trade the 10 a.m. PO3 and those are your rules, that's your model. But, the market open looks really good. I think it's going to have a lot of volume here. I know I've seen this a ton of times happen. And you take a long at market open and get stopped out. Whose fault is that? That's not the market's fault. That's literally just you having no self-control to wait for your setup to occur. You're just trading what you think the market is going to do, okay? So just realizing, humbling yourself that you don't know what the market's going to do. It could switch up on you at any time, no matter how good the setup is. So just stick to your model, stick to your rules, and keep it on screen beside you when you're trading. And kind of elaborating on that second issue was forcing setups outside of the model, okay? Like I said with the market open stuff. The problem is you're trading almost setups that don't fully hit the PO3 just to be into the market, okay? A lot of you guys are just constantly flooded with this dopamine of trading, okay? When you think about it, you're waking up at 6 in the morning and instantly potentially playing with thousands of dollars every single day, okay? That's very similar to the dopamine you get of waking up, ripping a fucking pack of cigarettes and getting on the slot machine, okay? It's very similar. It's the same dopamine you get as gambling. So a lot of you are inclined to see that, well, there's an opportunity to trade, so why don't I just do it? I could make money even if my model isn't there. That's incorrect, okay? Your job is to collect data and trade a model and become a master at that. Your job is not to try and make money every single day no matter what, okay? That's what a gambler mindset is. A trader mindset is more of a business model. You're trying to master one thing, okay? If you run a business and you're trying to go into every single day making money doing whatever fucking side hustle, that doesn't make any sense. You're never going to be a profitable business, right? But if you stick to one thing, you master one thing in one specific niche and become a master at it, odds are you're going to have a very profitable business. So this doesn't necessarily align with exactly our model, but you're checking off part 1. Do we have this? Part 2. Do we have this? Part 3. Do we have this? For us, it's do we have clear accumulation? Do we have a clear bias? Okay. 2, is the manipulation significant enough for us? And 3, is there confirmation with displacement with an IFEG or CISD? If yes, enter the trade. If not, sit out of the market. Okay. For example, today we sat out of the market because we didn't get any of those. So there's no reason to put risk on the table today. All right. Now, you want to also journal the misses. and not just the wins, okay? You don't have to track this in your P&L calendar, okay? But it might be a good idea to throw in the screenshot and journal it, being like, I almost took this trade, but I didn't. I stuck to my rules, okay? This is going to build positive reinforcement for long-term discipline and not just your entries. The last thing I want to cover is FOMO, or fear of missing out, which is almost everyone's downfall, okay? And this happens a lot after missing the top or the bottom entry of the 4-hour PO3, okay? There are certain times where we're not going to catch that very bottom, right? And maybe the setup doesn't occur, okay? So a lot of people get fear of missing out, okay? The problem here, you are missing the entry and you're going to chase late with no confirmation. You're just like, oh, whatever, the bottom's put in, I'm going to go long. When realistically it could end up being a bearish PO3 and you could get caught in the manipulation leg, no matter how strong your bias is, okay? So without proper confirmation, you enter and you chase really late, usually getting caught in a reversal or even just within a longer, higher time frame accumulation range, okay? The solution to this is reinforce that the market offers daily opportunity, okay? Do you guys really think that the market is going to shut down tomorrow or the next week or the next month or the next day? Do you think the market's just not going to be here, okay? Do you think trading's going to get oversaturated like some people say, which I don't think this is, but some people are like, oh, drop shipping's oversaturated, TikTok shop's oversaturated. Do you think that's not going to happen to trading? Okay, the market's here forever. The market was here before you were born, and the market's going to be here after you die. Okay, why do you think that you need to take every single opportunity that you potentially see? You don't, okay? You can have plenty of time. You can have a week where you don't take a single trade because you're waiting for that perfect setup. I know traders that trade once a month, traders that trade, 7 times a year because they're swing traders. All right, opportunities are everywhere within the market, okay? And do you know how many assets there are? You don't see yourself trading every single asset every single day. So why do you think you need to force trading every single day on one asset alone? You just need to wait for the good setups, okay? You just need to realize, oh, whatever, if I miss out on a move, or even if I miss out on a great setup that I just didn't see, who cares, okay? There will always be another PO3 tomorrow, always. And if not tomorrow, always next week, always next month, okay? It's always going to be here, Post this visually somewhere on your desk or your chart. If I miss it, I'll wait for the next one, not going in on revenge, okay? Most people who revenge trade and overtrade, they're stuck thinking in the dollar amount. They're like, oh, I need to pass this funded account. I need to take my payout instantly. No, you fucking don't. Just wait. Literally just wait. It is that simple, guys. If you do find a good amount of setups on any given month, this is sort of what it can look like, okay? This is actually a pretty good amount of trades for me, right? We have a win on Tuesday. We actually went on a decent break-even streak this month with the PO3, with Wednesday being break-even, Friday being 2 break-evens, and Wednesday we actually did have another break-even on this week. But we ended off the week with a win and then another larger win, okay? I'm keeping important in my head that I'm focused on risk to reward and long-term vision, okay? You don't see me forcing a trade on Monday. You don't see me forcing, 3, 4, 5 trades when I get hit break even. You don't see me forcing a trade on low probability days. And in fact, this week, you will only see Friday on my calendar because of my rules and my discipline, okay? So the market's really not going anywhere. This is profitable data from just one of my accounts this month, only trading the 10 a.m. PO3 and nothing else. And it's not just me who does it. This is one of my students trading the 10 a.m. PO3. This is 3 of his PA Apex accounts. Okay, this is not an eval, but as you can see, he's going for consistent base hits. And here's another student just tracking data. Look at his calendar. He's not trading every single day. He's not forcing setups. And he ended May with a profitable month. And he wasn't trying to win every single day or every single trade. His win rate was just over a 55%, but he kept an average risk reward of about a 1.8. Now, these are people who have worked with me directly. If you're interested in doing exactly that and fully mastering the PO3 entry model, and not just that, turning profitable with it through prop firms, click the second link down below to book a call with me and my team to see if you're a good fit. Hopefully you guys got a ton of value out of this video. Drop in the comments if this helped you out and anything that strains you psychologically that you might want me to talk about next.